Being in the process of learning and growing is one of the most humbling experiences that I've had recently. I've taken my CompTIA A plus Core 1 exam twice, failed it twice. And I'm angry. It sucks that I'm not able to at least post a video about, hey, I was able to pass my CompTIA A plus exam. This is what I did. Da-da-da-da. It fucking sucks. It just does. Okay. And I know I'm still in the process of learning and growing, but it doesn't feel good. Like, it's not necessarily painful, but I know I'm vulnerable right now. But anyway, this is what it actually feels like to be in the process. You know, like it's not a highlight reel post. This is not the I passed my test post. This is not the before or after. I don't have the result yet. Like right now, I'm in the middle. I'm at the awkward part. I'm very uncertain about where I am and the part where I don't even know what I'm doing wrong or what I'm doing isn't working. So, you know, like I said before, I took my CompTIA test again and failed again. And I hate it here. I'm angry. You know, I had people who failed their first time, came in the second time and passed it. I had people who went in the first time and passed it the first time. And what's crazy is that on the channel, I talk a lot about perseverance, you know, pushing through, staying consistent, showing up even when it's hard. But, you know, something that I haven't heard anyone talk about is explaining what it feels like when you're in it, when you fail. You know, online, no, I personally had to delete social media right now, except for the stuff that I'm posting, obviously. But you'll see people post their wins, you know, sometimes they're failures. But like even then, it's kind of controlled, and I think it's a little bit polished because what they don't show you is what it's like to show up there consistently, like what the process is like. Like people don't really care about the process; they care about the results, which I'm kind of going to get into right now, right? But you'll hear business owners talk about how uh, they had 12-hour days, sacrificing time with their friends, being isolated, grinding when nobody believed in them. And they mention a little bit of the emotional aspect of it, but they kind of gloss over it, or even their fans gloss over it. But what they don't really explain is what it does to you mentally. Because currently, it's just not me being overly emotional and projecting, but the process messes with me a lot. Struggle physically, emotionally, financially, it's just a part of growth. But the reason why it feels so heavy isn't just because it's hard, it's because it makes you feel vulnerable. And I didn't understand this until recently. Like really think about it like this, right? In nature, when animals grow, they molt or shed. You know, at least the ones who molt and shed, right? They don't. It's not like a hurtful process. It doesn't bring them pain to molt or shed. All right, but it does leave them exposed. Birds, some of them lose the ability to fly temporarily. Crabs, spiders, lobsters, you know, the ones with shells and exoskeletons, their protection, it's weakened for a time because they're soft shelled. They have to make sure it rehardens. Snakes, mid-shed, cannot move properly. Okay, they're not in pain. They're just vulnerable. They're easier to attack. They're not operating at maximum capacity. Like they're in a transitionary phase. And that's exactly what the process feels like. It's not always painful. It's just exposure. It's being aware of everything that I'm lacking, that you're lacking currently, all at once. What I've been studying for this past exam for the past month, I wasn't physically in pain, but mentally, I felt it. You know, I pulled back socially a little bit. I sacrificed time, and I had to sit there with what I didn't know. And it creates a weird emptiness. But because I'm giving up comfort and I haven't gained the results yet, and I'm in between, like, I feel so uncertain. Like, on top of that, I quit my 2 jobs in the past. So now there's financial pressure, and taking this CompTIA A plus exam, it's a $274 to $350 test every single time you take it. And I already quit my 2 jobs. Now, luckily, I have maybe some employment lined up, but so now there's financial pressures, right? Like, if something goes wrong, I don't care what anybody says, being in debt, it never feels good. And it adds an extra layer to my problems, right? Because I have to put that on the credit card. I have to put that into my savings. And now it's not just I study and I pass. Like, now it's like, if it doesn't work out, what happens now? And granted, I'm in a better position now. Like, I have employment lined up, hopefully, and I have support, and I understand that I'm blessed. But it doesn't cancel out how I feel right now, how I feel during the time, how I feel doubt, how I still question if I made the right decision. Like, I still have those thoughts, like what if this shit doesn't work out? You know, like, what if I just messed up? What if I'm just stupid? I just shouldn't have been here in the first place. And then comes the comparison. You know, people my age or younger are passing the exam first try, second try, and I know about it, and it bothers me. Because I know that could have been me. I know I could have passed. I know I could have passed. And maybe I didn't, maybe I didn't go as hard as I should have. I should have studied more. And the more and more I reflect on it, there were topics that I didn't fully understand, that I didn't focus on enough. And like, I took the practice test and I missed the questions. I didn't really view it as a big deal, but it ended up being a big deal because that could have been the grade whether I pass or fail. I just don't fucking know because I don't get to see my answers and what I failed and what I didn't fail on. Like, when I was mentally tired from studying and my brain was fried, like, instead of just resting, I turned on YouTube, I turned on the game to like decompress, to rest, right? And now looking at the results that I have currently, that's probably the part I don't really want to admit. And it's easier to admit that, like, it's easier to say that the test was hard, but the truth is that I didn't execute properly, not in the way that I should have, at least. And that's the realization that really hurts my ego. Okay, because now it's not like I could have done it. It's I didn't do what it took to pass, and that makes me feel vulnerable. That exposes me on an internal level. Kind of same thing with the gym. I see progress, but I don't see the process. Like, going from 119 to 155 didn't feel good. Okay, force feeding myself when I'm not hungry, feeling nauseous to hit a calorie count, or it just wasn't fun. Training till failure, feeling weak, not wanting to be there sometimes. I didn't enjoy that part of the gym. I want to feel strong all the time. I want it to be easy. I want to progress without discomfort, but that's not how it works. And it's the same thing when you're learning something new, right? When I'm in class, I'm getting cooked. And I understand, and well, not even understand. I don't understand what the fuck's going on, okay? And that's what hits my ego, because it shows exactly where I stand. Not where I think I am, but where I actually am. And the gap between those two things create the emotion, the doubt, the anger, the frustration, and I feel it all at once. And most people interpret emotions as a sign to stop, but they're not. They're a reality check if you evaluate properly. They're showing you this is where I am, and yeah, it's uncomfortable, but deep down, I want things fast. I want things easy. I want things now, and I don't want to wait. I don't want to struggle, and I don't want to feel like I'm behind. But that mindset, that's exactly what makes the process feel worse, because in reality, real life doesn't freaking care. Like, even with this content creation journey, like I see the views are down, the videos aren't hitting, the channel isn't where I want it to be, and it freaking bothers me, but I want it now, and I know it. You know, all this ties back to the same thing. I'm in the process. In the process, it's uncomfortable because I'm being exposed. I'm vulnerable. I'm aware I don't know. I'm being shown. I'm aware that I'm freaking lacking. I'm aware that I'm not where I want to be. And that feeling, you know, most people run from it, but you can't grow without it. And there is no version of improvement where I feel confident the entire way, at least in my head. And it just doesn't exist. You know, at some point I have to sit there and accept that I'm not doing as good as I thought. Not in some negative way, but in a real way. Because I see clearly what mistakes that I've made and I can actually fix it. You know? So yeah, the process isn't fun. It's frustrating, it's humbling, it's uncomfortable, but it's also necessary because the result only exists because of this part, because of the process. And even though I hate how I feel right now, I know this is where the change is happening. Not when I pass, not when everything clicks, like, but right here. So here's some practical steps to really evaluate this stuff, help you out, right? An awareness check. When I feel doubt, frustration, just label it. Literally say this is doubt. Literally say this is ego. It separates you from your emotions. The second thing is track small wins. Write down what you did every day to improve each day. You know, even if it's minor. You know, this fight's feeling like I'm not progressing. And even if you need to, list some stuff that you can be doing to cut out right now. Like even recently, I'm cutting out social media unless it's for posting. I'm cutting out time with friends. Like literally my plan going forward is school, work, gym, studying. I disconnected my PS5. Okay, I did everything I think off the top of my head to improve. Okay, I reduced the comparison triggers. Okay, I limited how often. That's why I delete social media, but also how often I compare myself to others. Like I need to focus on what I'm doing because I fail and I don't know what the heck I'm doing wrong. At least I think I do. But I set the process goals. I focus on studying 2 hours after every day, lifting 4 times a week instead of the outcomes of passing the test and looking for better immediately. You know, I stay in repetition longer. Most people switch strategies too quickly. You know, it not given enough time to work. I didn't really give it enough time to work. It's only been a month and I'm already trying to pass the exam. And I didn't pass. And it sucks. And I kind of want to cry. Not gonna lie. But through this, I hope that when you watch this video and I'm talking about how I passed my exam, and you guys can look back at this video and realize that I struggled just as much as you did, or more. I failed twice. I don't know if I'm going to fail again, but I know that if I continue going on and I intentionally grow, I intentionally try to understand what the heck I'm reading, then at the end of the day, I may be able to get to a place where I'm trying to go. Give me your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns in the comment section. Code Mint, MINT, triumphathletic.net for our gym merch. But yeah, adios.